Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast. You get me? Yeah. Now it's good. It's good. We're operating a big one. How am I? Starting it off, going straight into it. I'm good. Things are going well. Oops. Yeah, no, things are going well. Like I said, still excited for the year. More content is coming up. It's going to be a movie. Like 2024, like I said, is going to be a movie. It's March and I'm still with the energy. Still with the energy. So I have some sick guests who are going to pull up for the podcast. Excuse me. And yeah, I think really, it's just keeping consistent with what I set out for the year. That's all it is. And that's really how I am today. And I feel like that's just like we should make life simple. Like let's not complicate it, you know? Let's not make life complicated, although it is. And yeah, today, the topic of the day is stress. I'm going to be speaking about stress. And the reason I'm speaking about that is because things do get stressful. And I know I'm an individual who's in their head a lot. But we're going to deep that in a bit. For now, Pome of the Week, titled Secretly Struggling. This is how it goes. Small problems to others seem like enormously unsolved problems to me, causing a stress so deep it's hard to uproot. Starting with the first problem, school. This season of exams, I feel so damned. I don't think I can do it, going through work, calling it study, but the only study I could grasp is how useless I am. This pressure from society saying you need, I always knew I was ruled by society and their pretty perfect picture of a fantastic life like a fairy or a Disney movie. Sometimes I close my eyes and I wish I had a moment of Hollywood or Disney, where the kid struggling in school becomes one of the smartest. I mean, is that too much to ask for? A moment where what I perceive to be reality since society... is this too much to ask for? A moment where what I perceive to be reality since society brainwashed me could be reality now. I am secretly struggling. Moving on to my ministry and my relationship with God, it's as if it's hanging on a thread. Any moment it can be cut off. I fell off the tree, cut down because fruitless I was not. Being able to reconnect to the source of power, which seems to be a misconception. And this power I am attracted to seems not to want me to. This pressure from society saying you need. I always knew I was ruled by society and their pretty perfect picture of a fantastic life, like a fairy or Disney movie. Sometimes I close my eyes and I wish I had a moment of Hollywood, whereby the kid who's down rises at the end just for a moment of bliss. The third isn't quite hectic, right? I mean, it's just family. Problems which in my mind I was good at ignoring. What I saw was happening and I called it faith, believing something would change, but worse it got. My heart drops. Family issues take me to a box of tissues, the company I keep when I struggle in secret right after my tears. This pressure from society saying you need. I always knew I was ruled by society and their pretty perfect picture of a fantastic life, like a fairy or Disney movie. Sometimes I close my eyes and I wish I had a moment of Hollywood where the broken family becomes whole again. But rather than getting a second of wholesomeness, I get a lifetime whole, growing by the second. I'm struggling in secret. It isn't that the lost, but I make it the lost. Attraction, my passion, seem to only be my figments of my imagination, like the girl I care so much about. I don't have to touch, I don't have to bother, but as long as I'm the guy next to her, I'll be happy. But society doesn't say that. Maybe this is one problem that could turn out to be a telenovela. And regardless of the odds, we would end up together, even if it's for a fragment of a millisecond. Is that so much to ask for? I am secretly struggling. Although I talk, although I share, I feel limited. The struggle inside of me is so big, not even the vocabulary of this world or galaxy can even describe it. Not even a poem can explain it. Not even a dance can portray it. Neither a drawing convey it or a drama present it. The secrets of my heart so deep, deeper than the core of hell and higher than heaven. The struggle in me feels unusual, strange, not of me. I sometimes think to myself that being an outcast isn't a bad thing, especially if it is all you know. I mean, being an outcast in society is basically being part of the clique these days, right? If my fingers could express my heart, I don't think you'd continue reading. If my voice could express my heart, I don't think you'd listen. As you can see, I'm not good at expressing myself. Just know I am secretly struggling. Damn. That's a heavy poem. Sorry I didn't read it well. I was struggling with what I even wrote down high key. I was like, what, bro? What are you saying here? You know, yeah. The reason for that is because I wrote this poem in high school. At a time in my life where I really thought that I was just going through it. And I don't know, in high school we really make the smallest things big, the smallest thing big. And I think in hindsight, I think my issues were justified, at least from the lens I was seeing them from. And honestly, I think it's okay, man. Honestly, I do not beat myself up for thinking like that. It's really how I felt at the moment. Not one of my best poems, right? But a very relevant poem, especially to the discussion of stress today, right? So early in the year, I also went to the doctor and just for a checkup and whatnot. And basically my health it was good, but basically if I didn't sort myself out, in 10 years' time, it wasn't going to look good. Those were the words of the doctor, right? 10 to 15 years' time, it wasn't going to look good. And he said, he kind of asked, do you stress a lot? I was like, I wouldn't say that. You know, I stress enough. And I know I'm an individual who is in their head a lot, you know. When I have an idea, when I want to do something, I always think of, or when I want to, I just think of 10 million ways on how I want to do one thing. And that small little thing, how can I just do this and make it happen, right? And I'm in my head a lot about those things and the goals that I have for myself and the things that I want for myself. And also because of pressure and circumstances, that also adds a layer of frustration and stress to it. And it's not very healthy, right? And pretty much the stress I had affected my health. And studies have come to show that stress does play a role in an individual's life in this day and age. And I've seen interviews done by Stephen Bartlett on Diary of a CEO podcast where he really speaks about and speaks to professionals who really speak, and doctors, who speak about stress and how it has a huge impact on an individual's life, right? And we know in today's day and age as well, where he's also spoken to doctors and sociologists, this, that, and the third, who really say that in this day and age, stress, and there's articles about it as well, and studies done that in this day and age, stress has skyrocketed, has blown up. It's kind of pretty much the most stressful times in history is the present, which is scary. And that's true. Like whether we subscribe to societal pressures or we don't, there is still a level of stress, whether self-inflicted, that most of us encounter, whether it be it from society, be it family, be it friendships, be it personal things. You know, most of us, it's all of them. It really is stressful times, you know. And also because, you know, we have social media, we have this, that, and the third. And I know we hear these things like, oh, you know, stay away from social media, or, you know, reduce social media because it increases stress for not for everyone, but for a lot of us, you know. Different things different things cause stress for different people, right? And I think all in all, the reason why I want to speak about stress is just simply because of how, having listened to those podcasts that Stephen Bartlett was speaking about, a doctor's appointment in the beginning of the year, and last year, how really 2023 for me personally was a great year. And I wondered, why was it such a great year? You know what I'm saying? And I know there were times that I was relatively quote unquote stressed last year, right? But as much as, yes, I was stressed, it was still a good year from a more emotional perspective, a health perspective, and all these other areas of my life. And one of the things that helped me was I really didn't stress as much as I did if I was in high school or just before 2023. Like, I think 2023 was one of the least stressful years in my life. I mean, I've had less stressful years, but that year, last year, was really, as much as I was stressed or had stresses, it wasn't as deep as what I've seen before, right? What I've experienced before. And it just got reiterated through the doctor's appointment and through the podcasts I've been listening to that, bro, like, relax, you know, like, enjoy life, bro. Like, it's not that deep, although it is, like, it's not that deep at the same time, you know? And I remember my doctor said, like, he and his words that stuck with me, heard them before, but he was like, what I tell myself is, don't, what did he say? You can't, like, don't, something along that, I forgot now, I lost it, but something along the lines of control what you can and leave what you can't, basically, right? Like, control the things you can, and what you cannot control, hey man, let it be. And I hear that. And the reason why I want to speak about that is because a lot of us were stressed, man. You know, we're young people, we're trying to make it in corporate, we're young people trying to make it entertainment, we're young people trying to have relationships and start families. You know what I'm saying? And obviously I'm speaking from a place where I'm in my young 20s now, and, you know, you have mates who are paying bills now. You know, there's certain pressures, although it's not really directly pushed, you know, there's a level of pressure you're experiencing there that stresses you out from your family, self-inflicted stress as well. And it's like, how can I let all that energy go, right? And for you listening, I can't really speak for you, but these are stuff that I've applied, right? The question is, what now then, Bokang? Yes, stress is a thing. There's articles, there's studies done and whatnot. But what do I do now? I guess it's stress less. But how does that look like practically, right? And I think for me, because I'm in my head a lot and I'm thinking of a lot of creative ideas that I want to do, one thing I'm starting to do is I'm writing them down, right? If I can't do it, firstly, I'm writing all of them down, right? Then I make a plan. How can I make it happen, right? And then if I can't make it happen now, I say, okay, there's a plan and there's an idea, park it. And I realized ever since I started doing that, I haven't been in my head a lot about my ideas, right? And when it comes to other pressures put on society, it's kind of like offense. Like, I shouldn't take other people's offenses, man. Like, if society is saying one thing, if I don't subscribe, just lost, man. You know, just like, don't deep it too much is what I'm trying to say. Like, pay attention to it, but don't deep it. So I think those are the two things, is for the ideas that I have, is write them down, make a plan for it and park it if I can't do it now. If I can, make sure it happens in less than a month. That's what I've done for myself. And so many things, like I said, in this year, in the past few months, or ideas that I've had for time, but I didn't do them. So ever since I wrote them down, I made sure they happened. And from getting stresses from elsewhere, like, don't put that, like, I've realized to let go of the pressure and just focus on what I can control. That's what it went back to. Focusing on what I can control. Oh, I can't afford that thing. I bet. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't have a babes and I want a babes because I wanted to be married by 22. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, brother. Like, you know, if it happens at 27s, you know, if it happens at 30, if it happens at 40, it's okay. Like, obviously you want it now, but there's no rush is what I'm saying, you know, because you also want to do things right. So I really let go of a lot of things. And I'm just like, you know what I can control, we control. What we can't, we wusa. And I guess it's subjective, you know, to certain people, because certain people still want to push and they need to do certain things because of, you know, circumstances. I'm not disregarding that. But what I'm saying is there is a level of just polar that we need to have. Because like I said, stress is a huge issue that even affects your health. And if health is wealth, then truly we need to really look at that, you know. But there is, I don't know if there is such a thing as healthy stress, but in my opinion, I would think there is. One getter. So yeah, that's that. And I really hope that helps somebody. Now getting into weird news. I'm going to read some headlines basically on two stories that I found out that are pretty weird, right? And the first one says here is mummified monkey remains were found in a luggage at Boston's airport. So basically, a traveler at Boston Logan International Airport, right, I said that the bag contained a dried fish, and pretty much the people in security there were like, "Ain't no way, we want to search your bag." And in there, they found mummified bones of a monkey. So monkey remains, basically, which is wild if you ask me. And then another article here says, amateur archaeologists uncover a mystery ancient Roman artifact in England. It says a group of amateur archaeologists in England were on their second to last day of excavation in June 2023 when they discovered a find of a lifetime, a mysterious ancient artifact called a dodecahedron at a possible Roman site. And a dodecahedron is a circular copper early object between the size of a golf ball and a grapefruit, characterized by its 12-sided form with various holes and knobs. I'll show you the picture here. So according to Lorona Hitchens, a doctoral student in the UK studying all the Roman dodecahedron of Europe, there are many European theories about the dodecahedron's use as a gauge, a rangefinder, a candlestick, a die for gambling, or gaming, or knitting gloves, for example. And she says that none of these theories are supported by evidence. That's interesting. They just found something dope. But do you know what I find weird? Not find weird, but what I'd like to know is how archaeologists get paid. Yeah. How do they get paid? If you know, comment that in the comment section. But that's weird. Those are the two weird stories for today. Weird news that I found. Obviously, the finding of the dodecahedron and people being weird and going through country to country with mummified bodies and saying it's fish. Like, did you think you're not going to get searched? Like, that is the wildest thing for me. Anyways, Oaks, I'm going to wrap it up here for this one. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll check you in the next one. Danko. Yes, thank you. Issue.